So you're thinking of moving to or living in Colorado, and even if you already live in Colorado and you're wondering about cool things to do in the northwestern quadrant of Colorado, we've got 9 things we're going to cover today. Some of them you might have heard of as far as, snow attractions and mountains, but several others I think you might not have heard of before. So stick in with me, cover 9 things that you may not know about that are super cool to do and visit in the northwestern part of Colorado. Let's check it out, because you don't know what you don't know. I connect with people just like you every day to help them discover where to live and invest in real estate and sell property for top dollar when the time is just right for them as a fabulous investment. My name is Leif Jacobson. I'm an ex-cop turned realtor, also known as Safe Leif. If you're new to this channel, subscribe so you're first to learn about Colorado real estate. My contact information is below, and I'm super excited to hear from you. Please reach out by text, call, or email after this video. I'd love to connect with you, or you can book an appointment online and I will reach out to you, a calendar appointment. So whatever works best for you, I'm excited to hear from you. We're covering the 9 things today that you may not know about in northwestern Colorado. So let's check it out. Some of the finest attractions in Colorado are the ski resorts, because we have world-class snow in Colorado. It's light and fluffy and fabulous to ski in, and some of the world's top ski resorts, much less the country of the United States, are located in Colorado. And the first one we've got to mention, of course, is Aspen. It is a super high-end, pretty shishi town that's become really high-end. Lots of stars and famous people have places in Aspen. It attracts millions of visitors each year. It's called the Billionaire Mountain, is kind of another name for Aspen. It's definitely a lifestyle of the rich and famous. Just to mention a few of the people that have homes there are the Waltons of Walmart. Jeff Bezos' parents have a place there. Michael Dell of Dell Computers, Kelly Ripa, Goldie Hawn, and Kurt Russell have a place there. Mariah Carey, Antonio Banderas, Lance Armstrong, Don Henley of the Eagles. Jack Nicholson owns 5 homes in Aspen. Kevin Costner has a 160-acre estate up towards Independence Pass, just kind of coming up on the outside of Aspen. So lots of stars and famous folks that have places there, and it is literally world class. The airport is a sensation there, because when you're coming in and you go past the airport, there are dozens of private and Lear jets there. And most small airports, you might see 1 or 2 of those every once in a while, but there's more like 60 just sitting there and parked all the time. So yes, it's very high end as far as the money and kind of the economics there, and it's kind of reflected in town as far as the prices in Aspen. It's not cheap to ski there, it's not cheap to dine there and shop in town, but that's because there's loads of people with massive amounts of money. It's known for its ideal ski conditions, as we've talked about, and massive slopes. Aspen and Snowmass is one of the country's largest ski resorts. It's more than 5,000 acres of skiable terrain. There's 46 chairlifts across 4 adjacent mountains. So Aspen Mountain, Snowmass, Aspen Highlands, and Buttermilk are the 4 different mountains there. It's ideal for all levels of skiers, but has a lot for intermediate and advanced skiers as well. Some are not so balanced that way. Some are kind of beginner mountains, but there's actually a lot for intermediate and advanced skiers. There's some beginner trails there, but not as much. It's more for intermediate and advanced skiers. If you come during the summer, there are lots of summer activities, and they do downhill biking. There's lots of hiking in the summer. There's the Rio Grande Trail for beginners, Smuggler's Mountain Trail for intermediate hiking. Aspen Mountain is more of an advanced hike. It's thousands of feet elevation gain. I've climbed that myself from down in the town. It's a great climb up toward the top, and there's a really cool, it's open all summer, there's a really cool lodge at the top where you can get fabulous food and kind of hang out and chill out and eat at the top. And here's the one little trick for you. If you hike to the top, if you're going from the bottom, the gondola to the top costs money. If you hike up the mountain and take the gondola down, the gondola is free. So you can go down the gondola and you don't need to pay for a ticket, which is actually pretty expensive in itself. So that's one thing. If you're willing to put in the work of hiking up the mountain, my wife and I did that, and we got a free ride down. So you don't have to hike all the way down after hiking up thousands of feet. Maroon Bells has multiple levels as far as hikers. And the Lost Man Loop is another advanced trail there. There's a summer flight activities there. Also, there are attractions during the summer. There's paragliding. You can take paragliding lessons or have a guided paragliding tour. And you can also take hot air balloon rides. And there's rafting and kayaking on the Fork River in the summers as well. Aspen is fabulous. The second attraction we'll cover, very similar to Aspen, still very high-end and expensive in general, but not quite to that level, is Breckenridge, also known as Breck. You'll hear locals call it Breck if you're local to Colorado. It's an easy getaway because it's only a couple hours out of Denver. Aspen's a little further out of Denver, so just a couple hours out of Denver, a couple hours, actually 2.5 hours from Colorado Springs. If you take Highway 24, kind of approaching from the south, you can get there pretty easily from Colorado Springs as well. Some of the best ski conditions in the state, there's no question. Breckenridge Ski Resort has 187 trails, 35 lifts, and there's several terrain parks, including a half pipe for snowboarders. So there's really cool. Some of the, ESPN and some of the channels will film there every once in a while. They'll do competitions and stuff. There's a free gondola that runs downtown to the base of the ski mountain, so it doesn't cost money to take that from where you can park up to the base of the mountains. Really good restaurants and cool attractions and some entertainment stuff to do there. It's a great way to enjoy the mountain views, and it doesn't cost you anything to take that gondola ride up there. Downtown Breckenridge is fabulous as well. It's famous, kind of legendary in Colorado for food, beverages, treats, clothing stores, souvenir shops. There's a thriving arts district as well, so there's lots of window shopping to be done. Hiking and biking trails are around in the area as well. As far as McCullough Gulch Trail is highly rated, Hoosier Pass Loop, and Sawmill Reservoir Trail. The third ski mountain we'll mention is Vail, of course. I'm sure you've heard of Vail, Colorado as well. Also not quite as high-end as Aspen, but pretty high-end as far as residents and rich and famous that are there as well. So there's no question, the Kardashians, the Obamas, and James Hetfield of Metallica all have places there, among others. It's definitely a resort destination. It's got top-notch spas. There's a European-inspired spa there with massages and body treatments, scrubs and facials, indoor and outdoor whirlpools, and even an oxygen bar. There's really cool shopping. It's home to the Betty Ford Alpine Gardens, afternoon wine tasting, and Four Eagles Ranch, or Root and Flower are some places that are fabulous to eat. Upscale dining in top areas are the Matsushita Japanese cuisine, as well as Sweet Basil contemporary American cuisine. If you like natural springs and hot springs, you can visit Steamboat Springs, which is also kind of a high end, more of kind of a summer, but there's skiing there as well. But it's exceptionally known for its summer attractions as well. So it's got hot springs there, and the ski mountain has 170 trails with 21 lifts, 3 terrain parks for all different levels of activity. There's Old Town Hot Springs. It's located at the heart of downtown. Several designated pools. It has 1 kiddie pool, 2 water slides that are open seasonally, so at different times of the year. Other popular winter activities include cross-country skiing, horseback riding, snowmobiling, ice skating, tubing, and scenic gondola rides. You don't have to be on the ground at all. You can just check it out from the air. Popular summer activities include hiking, mountain biking, fly fishing is world-class as well, and swimming or paddleboarding in local lakes is awesome as well. The 5th place we'll cover is one of my favorite destinations in all of Colorado. It's probably my favorite destination for my wife and I, which is Glenwood Springs. So Glenwood Springs is just a couple hours outside of Denver, right where you would cut off. So you go past Breckenridge and Vail, you continue out to Glenwood Springs, and if you were headed up to Aspen, that's where you cut off Highway 70 in order to head up to Aspen. So Glenwood Springs is outstanding, and that's our favorite place to go just for a night or two. You don't have to stay long, there's lots to do, and I'll tell you about a couple of those attractions. It's situated right along the Colorado River that runs through that valley. So it runs right along 70 coming through that valley. The drive is gorgeous, the rocks and ledges and precipices that come right down into the river. And there's vertical peaks and walls that come right out of the city, right as you're going in and out of Glenwood Springs. So it's a really cool ambiance and lots to look at. Surrounded by the Rocky Mountains right there, and mineral water from the Yampa Springs naturally heats to about 122 degrees. There are 3 main areas to enjoy the hot springs there. One is Glenwood Hot Springs Resort, which has been around for a long time. It's home to the world's largest hot spring pool in the world. It's big enough for visitors to swim laps in. It's that big. Most hot spring pools are pretty small, so that's kind of legendary for being that large. It ranges from 90 to 93 degrees as far as the water in the big pool. It's kid-friendly as far as the resort. Not all hot springs. There's lots of hot springs throughout all of Colorado. Not all of them are kid-friendly, so that's one nice thing about Glenwood Hot Springs. And no reservations required. Now the next one I'm going to tell you about is Iron Mountain Hot Springs. This is my wife and I's favorite place to visit. It is outstanding. Some hot springs are kind of sulfur stinky, they can be kind of dirty. The natural ones that you can climb or hike to are not always the nicest pools in the world. It's nice to be remote, but Iron Mountain does an outstanding job of providing a spa-like atmosphere. The music is wonderful, it's very crisp and clean. Several of their pools have rocks and pebbles in the bottom to massage your feet as you're enjoying the pool. There used to be just 16 pools that are on the river. It's right on the Colorado River, so it's overlooking the river. It's a really cool kind of tiered atmosphere that goes right down toward the river. It used to be 16 pools and they just doubled that. They did a multi-million-dollar addition and just doubled. There's over 30 pools now, and there's an adult-only area. It's also kid-friendly and a kind of a common pool, but there's an adult-only area now in these new pools that they just put in, which are really outstanding. There are rain showers there to cool yourself down in between hot soaks. And there's different minerals in different pools. All 30 pools have different minerals from different areas that they put in from all over the world. So some have, kind of a Swedish vibe. There's, Russian pool there, and from different places all over the world. So it's a really cool vibe. It's, relatively affordable. You go for a 3-hour stint is what the fee gets you. You can hang out for 3 hours. It used to be all day, but ever since COVID, they restricted the time frame to 3 hours at a time, which is fair enough. That's what most of them are. Used to require reservations, but you don't need reservations anymore. You can pop in. You risk, of course, not getting a spot if you're just popping in at a time. But usually, unless you're there on a prime, holiday or vacation weekend, you can just pop in and you don't necessarily need reservations. But if you want to lock that in, of course, and guarantee yourself a spot, then you do reservations there. Yampa Spa and Vapor Caves is one of the only vapor caves on the continent, and you go underground. I think it's about 40 feet underground, and there are naturally therapeutic steam coming up from underground rivers in this kind of steam caves, and it's awesome. It's super affordable. It's only $15 for a few hours. I don't remember the time frame. I think that's 2, 3, 4 hours that you get in order to hang out there for $15. And there's a cold shower down there. They have pipe cold water down there, so it's cooking hot in the steam caves, which I like much better than a vapor steam like that. So it's super affordable, and there's a cold shower down there, and you can come up and hang out in the cool air outside. My favorite time to do that is kind of coming into late fall, coming into the winter when it's cold outside, so you can go down for 15 or 20 minutes at a time and enjoy the caves, and then come up and cool down when you're cooking hot. You can cool down being outside with the cool air. They also have spa and massage treatments. The sixth area we'll talk about is Grand Lake, which is also a fabulous attraction. One of the best spots in Colorado for swimming, fishing, boating, and soaking up some sun. It's the largest natural body of water in the state. There's lots of lakes and reservoirs in Colorado, but most of them are man-made reservoirs. So this is a natural body of water, which is uncommon for Colorado for a lake that big. Most of those are man-made. It's located a few miles southeast of Grand Lake entrance to Rocky Mountain National Park. It's about 100 miles northwest of Denver. It's a family-friendly lake with sandy shores. It's well maintained. It is designated picnic spots, breathtaking views of the surrounding Rocky Mountains that reflect on the lake. And it's surrounded by the Rocky Mountain National Park, basically, is what you're looking at up and outside of the lake. And it's not uncommon to see a moose or two down in the lake. So you can get paddle boats and rent kayaks and go in the lake, and a moose come down and hang out right in the lake. Last time we were there, was about a dozen moose just hanging out right in the water. It's super cool. There's a marina where visitors can rent the stuff that I was talking about as far as boats and kayaks right there on the lake. And the town of Grand Lake features several cafes, restaurants, and shops. And there's winter attractions, including ice fishing on the lake. and ice hockey as well. The seventh adventure we'll talk about is Black Canyon of Gunnison National Park. There's lots of scenery in a small area, pretty dark, jagged peaks, dramatic canyons, and breathtaking views. It's not great for hiking because of the steep nature of the canyon. It's pretty hardcore environment, so if you're gonna hike in there, you really need to have some good gear and know what you're doing and where you're going. Driving is the best way to take in the views. It's small enough to see in about a day. You can do a driving tour, so you don't need multiple days there. It's about 260 miles from Denver. Top recommendations there are exploring the North Rim. There's 3 trails, 5 overlooks at a campground, and it's a little less developed than the South Rim. So you can go to the South Rim for 4 different hiking trails, 12 overlooks, and there's a campground there that's just larger than the North Rim campground with some more amenities to it. Entrance to the park requires a $30 vehicle pass, so there is that. The 8th thing you might not know to check out in Colorado is called Independence. Colorado is full of ghost towns, many left empty from the mining struggles in the early 1900s. You can visit the remains of these towns for a first-hand look and a little unique history behind them. Independence Ghost Town is located outside of Aspen. Features empty tables, old general store, and cabin remains. 11,000 feet of elevation, only accessible in the summer months because of snow. Past visitors enjoy hiking and around the old buildings. Learn about town history through informative signs, and you can get souvenirs from the still operating general store that's open seasonally. The 9th thing you may not know about in Colorado that we're going to cover is the Dinosaur National Monument. This is one I'd never even heard of before I was researching this. It's home to preserved fossils and natural wonders. It straddles the Colorado-Utah border. It's a rugged landscape full of mountains, canyons, and rivers. It's once inhabited by dinosaurs, of course. Visitors can see remnants of dinosaurs existing in the rocks. It's family friendly. It's a quarry exhibit hall that displays about 1,500 bones that once belonged to different types of dinosaurs. There's petroglyphs from the Fremont Indian tribe. Outside of the museum, there's hiking trails from a visitor center to viewpoints that overlook the unique desert landscape. You can also do some cycling and horseback riding there. Entrance to the Dinosaur National Monument costs $25 per vehicle to get your vehicle in and drive through. It's a bit removed from Colorado attractions, more like 280 miles west of Denver, but visitors do say it's worth the trip. So there are 9 things you may not know about in Colorado. Hopefully, whether you even live there, it's very expensive real estate in those areas. So if you live by them, that's great. But anywhere in Colorado, within a few hours, you can get to that area and enjoy some of those 9 attractions. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I'm doing several of these videos by the regions and different regions and areas of Colorado as far as stuff you might not know if you've heard of before, as far as cool stuff to do. So check out the other videos as well. I'll link them to this video. I'm glad you spent time with me. Feel free to call, text, or email. I'd love to engage with you and be a resource for you, whether you're looking for real estate or just something else that's fun to do and stuff you might not know. So that's the part of the point of these videos. I'll catch you in the next one.